Welcome to Build Your Dream Business, brought to you by Solo. More than just a booking app, we're a community for independent pros in hair, beauty and wellness. I'm Katrina, here to bring you closer to real stories of success from the industry's finest and share practical advice to help your business flourish. In today's episode, Amy Hyde, a celebrity and fashion manicurist, shares her journey in the beauty industry and the importance of finding your ideal clients. Amy shares her experience in session work, the significance of networking, and her goals for the future. Welcome, Amy. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, my lovely. That was a lovely intro. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to fit my head through the door later.
Why don't you kick off by telling us where it all began, how you got into the industry?
Well, it started when I was probably about 14 or 15, deciding what you wanted to do when you're older. You know, you're doing GCSEs, And I really got into painting my own nails. And then I wanted to go do it at college. I wanted to go to beauty college. But my mum, she was like, you don't want to go do that, darling. Go and do something that, you know, is going to be like a bit more So I went to college and did something that I actually didn't want to do at all. And when I'd finished college, when did you finish? 18, I guess. I actually did an apprenticeship at a salon in the town that I lived in. And I believe that I earned, at the time, the apprenticeship wage was £2.80 an hour or something like that. Like, it was ridiculous. But I did it, and I did that. I did some like nannying. I worked in a pub and I worked in a hotel. I was working all the time just to like fund this dream that I had. So a couple of years later, I actually had the opportunity to buy half of the business.
Oh, wow.
I was 21 when I did that. I did it all by myself, which was incredibly empowering. And very brave at the age of 21. Like, I was just a baby. Like, you can't, it's so young.
That's incredible. I can't think what I was doing age 21, but not buying up businesses, that's for sure.
When I look back, I just think, wow, like, what an achievement for this 21-year-old girl. So we had one. And then with my investment, we opened up a second salon. And then 6 years after, we opened up a third location. So it was really busy, but I actually gave up my salons a year ago. It wasn't an easy decision for me to make, but it was really hard work, and it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time. And for me, it just got to a point where it didn't match my values or the lifestyle that I wanted. So I made a change, and I decided to close my salons and just be freelance. And I've never looked back since.
What was that transition like? How did you inform your clients? How did you sort of do it logistically?
The toughest thing was definitely letting staff know, because you're employing people and they're depending on you for them to like live their life, you know? So that was the toughest thing. So I had around 100 clients, and from that 100, I only took about 12, which is a lot less than people would be like, oh my God, like that's crazy. But I knew that the clients that I took on would be flexible with their schedule. They either work from home or had the luxury of not working at all. They live local to me or my area. And I really enjoyed their company. That's such a huge thing for me. Choosing a client to take on is that I enjoy being with them. Not that I'm saying I didn't enjoy being with the other 80, whatever, but I just knew that these particular clients, I just knew that they were going to be with me for a really, really long time. And that for me was really, really important.
This is something that we quite often talk about, you know, finding the right clients and not just going for volume and not just going for, you know, even volumes of Instagram followers and social media likes, but finding the clients that can really work for you, that will, you know, trust your price increases if you're going to have any. Is that kind of what you found, that you were finding those right clients for you? How important was that?
Within your business, having your ideal client is so important, because your time is so valuable. Your effort, your energy is so valuable to your business, your home, your family, your friends, yourself.
So obviously when you shut down your salons and you then decided that you only wanted to take a few clients with you, you're in that position because you already, acquired those clients from years of hard work and building up those salons. How did you find them in the first place? How did you decide what your ideal client is, and how did you then go after them to find you at the salons?
Social media marketing was a big thing. And then also having a presence on Google. It's different if you're like a mobile person, or maybe perhaps you don't want people to know exactly where you are in terms of location, things like that. But if you are in a location that is a commercial property, anybody who's not on Google reviews, you're losing out on so much potential, definitely. And having a really good website is super key. And accessibility. My other half's a web developer, and he says if you can't get to the thing you want to get to in 3 clicks, then someone gives up. So if someone goes onto your website or searches for you or your niche or your business or your type of business, if they cannot book an appointment or find a price or get what they need within 3 clicks, then that's it. When I changed over from being mobile to, from a salon to being mobile, some people did maybe a couple of appointments and they were like, actually, do you know what? I'd prefer to go somewhere. And that's fine. And there is a couple of people that have dropped off my client list, but my client list has now doubled and I'm full to capacity. And to be honest, it's all referrals. Like that's, for me, that's my biggest thing. Just speaking to your clients and being like, I have an opening for a new client, give them my number. Having that relationship with your clients to be able to refer you to their friends and family. Because once you get someone who is your ideal client, most likely their friends and family are going to be an ideal client.
Yeah. How did you establish who that ideal client is? Have you got that written down somewhere? Was there a thought process behind, who I want to be seeing, what, their spending power is, where they live, who they are?
I looked at the things that are going to work for me. So location wise, where does that client live? Does that client live in a close vicinity or the same town as someone else that I might see? Or, no longer than this amount of time away? Can I access another person on the same day very quickly, easily, so I'm not spending time traveling around? How does that person live their life in terms of, are they going to be looking after their nails? Do they cook and clean and do all these are they a gardener? And also what does their ideal appointment look like? Do they want to have someone who's going to go in quickly? Do they care about the products that are used? And also what their budget is as well. You have to be realistic about what you're charging versus someone's budget. And you're not going to be for everybody. You're not going to fit everyone's budget or everyone's lifestyle. And setting that expectation in the first instance is imperative for, a long and happy, healthy relationship between you and your client.
It's interesting that, you think about it in such a granular way, right down to their lifestyle, what they'd expect from an appointment with you. I think that's super, super interesting because it's a two-way street and you're working for yourself because you want to make your working life better for yourself. You want to take control over what those appointments look like. So you have the power to decide who your clients are and who you advertise to ultimately. Apart from, those word of mouth referrals that are so important, how would you advise to somebody just perhaps starting out in their journey or being a bit earlier in their journey to find those ideal clients?
I would say definitely having, being accessible in terms of your social media. What does your social media look like? What do the pictures that you take look like? What brands are you using? You can associate certain brands with certain prices, certain types of nail services. That's one thing. Are you using a premium brand, but your Instagram photos or the work that you're showing is blurry and like, you know, the cuticles are all a bit crusty, or there's like, you know, the photo's taken like a meter away from someone's hand. And do you know what I mean? It's just niching down on what you do to find your ideal client. So say you want to be a luxury manicurist, you need to be showing that that's what you're providing, and showing up every day on social media pages and things like that, and showing your education, showing your skills.
Some people really specialize in nail art, don't they? And yeah, you know, not everybody can be a luxury manicurist. There's price points for everybody.
If you're someone who's just starting out on nails, it is so tough. But if you are so consistent and you keep pushing your work out there, you keep advertising for, you know, perhaps you want to practice specific things, just post that you're looking for models in this area, and just having that ability to be confident and assertive about what you're doing, you will go far. It is all about consistency. It really, really is. And I know that it is such a said thing, like an oversaid thing, but it is just what it is. Like, you just have to be in people's faces and scream from the rooftops, I am here. I need models for £20. Like, come and be my model for £20. I'll give you a coffee as well. Lovely. All done.
Which actually brings me on to, you know, the idea of those little additional touches and keeping clients coming back time and time again. Have you found things like, you know, saying that you include drinks in your services? I'll give you a coffee. I'll do this. That, you know, there's a free cuticle oil involved for first-time clients. Have you found that those sorts of touches have helped for your retention as well?
It's not something personally that I provide, obviously, because I go to people's houses. So actually, I get them coffee, and I have a client who gives me cake. I have one who gives me breakfast. Like, you know, it is, honestly, I'm so grateful. There's someone who I've been following for a little while. She's about half an hour from me, and she's a Russian manicure specialist, and her work is beautiful. It's so gorgeous. She's just been on my radar as someone who I believe is like super talented, really, really lovely. And every month she does like different things that it's just a bowl of little things that people just take. You know, her clients would be like, oh, you know, it might be just like a little disposable nail file and a cuticle oil and a little organza bag and stuff like that. And I think, God, I'd love to be a client there. But it's just so cute. And, you know, she's got all the hot drinks and things like that. Having those little touches, especially as we go into winter time, if you're like a lash technician or someone who uses a bed, having a heated blanket, all these little details, you know, that just makes people feel extra special, extra cared for. Because at the end of the day, that's actually, you know, what we're doing. We are like providing a service.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, talking about that client retention, that's what's going to help your business grow, because that then turns into those referrals. You know, happy clients then refer other clients. So that heated blanket is actually probably going to get you a client referral at the end of the day.
100%.
How important has social media been for you since going solo? I know that you said that you used it a lot to build up your salon businesses. Are you still using social media a lot to build your existing client base?
I am awful at social media, I must admit. I can like talk the talk, blah, blah, blah. You need to see this, you need to see that, da, 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 da. One thing that I feel a lot of people miss is your bloody location. Put your location on your social media, because otherwise people are not going to find you. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
And I would say another thing is also call to action. If you want people to book, just put the booking link in your bio. Just put it there. It's so simple. Have your location, have your niche, and your call to action. If it's not a booking link, then at least a consultation form or a request form, or just something where people can spend a little bit more time on your page as well. And getting to know you. In our industry especially, we never show our faces. And potential future customers, they'll follow you. But if they like your nails, that's fine. But they don't know what you look like. They don't know who you are. They don't know they're going to enjoy spending their time with you because they don't know anything about you, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's especially important when you're booking with an independent professional, because you're going in for like what really is a one-on-one treatment. You're potentially building a relationship with the individual.
Yeah.
It can be scary, can't it? How have you got over the fear of like posting yourself and talking about yourself and getting your face out there?
I went on a retreat a little while ago, and it's definitely changed my perception about it. And I just don't really care anymore, Katrina, I'm not going to lie. People know me for me, and I know probably about 85% of my followers. They know who I am. They know about my life. And it's like, well, I'm just going to show it, especially with all my session work as well. I feel like that is something that not a lot of people actually know about. So I'm like, I met my very good friend, Robbie, who has helped me so much with all of my London work, like magazines and film, things like that. And he doesn't gatekeep at all. He's so open, and I feel like I want to do that. I struggled a lot in the beginning, and I would have struggled way more if I didn't have him. But then I know there's a lot of people who want to get into it who don't know anything about it, or don't know where to begin, or how to get into it. So just showing like your raw self and just real things, I feel like it helps build relationships with clients, potential clients. And for me, it helps to build relationships with brands. Brands know who I am, what I'm about, or like producers or like photographers and stuff like that. They can just see you for who you are, whether you're going to be a good fit to work with as well. It's just all a bit about being super authentic.
This podcast is brought to you by us here at Solo. If you're a self-employed beauty pro, Solo is the booking app that helps you not only manage your appointments, but also build your brand. With Solo, you can create your own personalized booking website where clients can easily view your availability, read your reviews, and even pay deposits up front, giving them a seamless booking experience and saving you valuable time. With everything from consultation forms to marketing tools all in one place, growing your dream business has never been easier. If you haven't checked us out yet, why not start your free trial today? It's a great way to dip your toe, isn't it? But that's so true what you're saying about being authentic, because, if there's a client or a brand that sees you and thinks you're perhaps not the right fit for whatever reason, great. That wasn't the right client for you to work with. That wasn't the right brand for you to work with. You've kind of got over that by putting yourself out there in the first place, rather than, starting to build a relationship with that client, but then later on realizing that maybe you're not right for each other. So actually, by putting yourself out there and by being authentic on your social media, you're preempting that. You're getting rid of the stage where you realize that actually perhaps this working relationship wasn't quite right.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about your session work. How did you get into that?
I decided that I wanted to do it probably about 6 or 7 years ago. I started off assisting a lot of very experienced nail technicians. And then it just kind of developed from there, really. It is definitely an industry where it's so fast paced. You've got to work also with normal polish, which actually a lot of nail technicians, they don't know how to use normal nail polish. I did nails like 11 years ago where gel polish had just started coming out, really. So I've used normal nail polish for donkey's years. I started assisting people and it grew from there. I built professional relationships with producers, photographers, models, and it just starts with doing a lot of work for no money. I remember I did my first ever Vogue cover, and it was like I was so over the moon. I was so excited. It was like proper biggest career moment ever. Didn't get paid for that. I did that for free. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, you get paid loads for it. And I'm like, no, there's no money in fashion.
How did you get those first assistant gigs? How did you apply for those things? How did you get the contacts?
I reached out to session technicians. I remember when I assisted Robbie Tompkins, and I was shitting myself. But it just started off sending him a DM being like, hey, if you need an assistant, let me know. And that's it.
Sending somebody a message can seem like the scariest thing in the world, but what's the worst that could happen? You could get no response, you could get a no, but then on the other side, you can get these huge opportunities open to you.
Just one message can just change absolutely everything. I mean, that's a bit dramatic, but it can. You know, even if it's just the chance to work with somebody or the chance to assist someone, or even just sending your like a CV to a salon that you want to work in, or stuff like that. And at the end of the day, you just either get the response you want or you don't. And it is honestly as simple as that. It is really hard to come to terms with that, you know. Like inside, it's dreading. You can always type out the message and just get someone else to press send. That's what I would do.
And it also goes hand in hand with putting yourself out there on your socials, you know, really setting yourself up as brand you, because then, you know, that person that you sent that DM to, the person you sent that CV to, they'll then be able to see who you are straight away. And if you haven't done that, then, you know, great, they can think you do great nails or, you know, whatever other treatment you do, but you kind of have to be your own brand these days, don't you? Especially as a self-employed professional.
Yeah, absolutely. And being your own brand is so tricky. It's so hard. We compare ourselves to other people, don't we? And that's something that I really struggle with. I really, really struggled when I go on some pages and where I think, oh my God, this person, like there's someone who I don't particularly like in the industry, and I see what they're doing and I'm like, how have they been able to do that? I think that I should have those opportunities, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, they've worked hard. They have worked really hard to get that opportunity. And you're just on different journeys. Everyone is on total different journeys. And you cannot compare yourself to other people because it's so toxic and it'll just bring you down. Just got to stay in your little lane and just crack on with it.
Focus on yourself and what you want to do rather than what other people are doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think with that comparison, you know, talking about, you touched on earlier about, you know, meeting people and talking to people that you think are better than you or, you know, on somewhere different to you. It's so true that whenever you meet these people, they are just humans. So there's absolutely nothing to be scared of. We're all just human beings that are trying to do our best. As a self-employed professional, you're obviously wearing so many hats at the same time. You know, as you're saying, you're reaching out to people on DMs about these opportunities and, you know, you're having to manage your social media, you actually have to do your job. How do you make sure that everything gets done? Do you have any routines or rituals that you implement in your day-to-day life?
I think being self-employed, you do have that flexibility of you can kind of choose when you want to work. I am the world's biggest procrastinator, not going to lie. So getting things done, I really, really struggle with. So I really like it when I get shadowed. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. But basically, I get my other half to sit down with me whilst I'm doing like my accounts or like sending out my invoices. And it's not in a creepy way. He just sits next to me and like does something, like does his own work or, you know, watches something on telly. And I have to just sit there until I'm done. And if you don't have anybody at home or, you know, or no one's at home when you're going to do it, go to a coffee shop and just sit on the next table next to like some stranger.
That's great. Like whatever works for you. And I think it's just, you know, trying different methods of time management and getting everything done and getting to that thing that works for you. And it won't be the same for everybody else, but that's so cool to have found something where you know that if somebody sits next to me or if I'm in a coffee shop, I get stuff done. And then once you realise that that's the thing that will mean you get all your tasks completed, you can then do that. You've solved it.
Yeah. And definitely having an allocated day to do it. And don't do it on your day off because it's your day off. So just keep your accounts up to date once a month, where maybe you could just do it in an afternoon on a Monday or whatever day you want. and you don't have clients and you don't book clients, because we all know what we're like. We always squeeze people in, but you're like, no, between 12 and 3 or however long it takes you to do your accounts, you are doing that job. That is the most important thing that you need to do. Block it out on your calendar. Make it so it is on a specific day, like a routine.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Just a real non-negotiable. And then once it becomes a habit, it's a habit. You know, on that Tuesday afternoon, you're doing it. That's it. No questions asked. What was your biggest fear before deciding to sell up your salons and go self-employed?
A lot of people had said that I wouldn't earn a lot of money, or I would lose clients, or, you know, it's not going to work. But actually my biggest fear was my staff. That for me was such a huge fear of letting them down. I was so grateful to have them, especially she was kind of like a business manager, and we were in it for, I think we worked together for 7 years, and she's just my best friend. I was just afraid of letting her down. And I know it sounds really like sad, but just letting them down, that was definitely my biggest fear. And I don't want to say it in a cocky way, but I knew that I'd be fine because I chose these 12 or 15 clients, or however many it was in the beginning. I chose them for a reason. I chose them because I knew that that they believed in me.
In terms of letting go of your staff, for anybody else that might be listening to this episode that, you know, maybe does manage a salon and is thinking of going self-employed, did you take any learnings from that you could pass on to anyone in that position? Is there anything you do differently? Is there anything you're sort of really glad you did it in that way?
The thing that I learned the most is people management is not for me. I did it for so long, and I almost cared too much. And that sounds so cliche and so big-headed. But honestly, I would stress so much about the girls that worked for me, about, are they okay? What do they need? And I was always trying my best, and it was exhausting. It really, really was. It was like having 12 children. Hats off to them for putting up for me when I was stressed. But that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned. And I've accepted that. And it's a really big thing to accept as a, quote unquote flaw. But it's just not for me. And that, again, that's a huge reason as to why I decided I'm just going to look after myself, because looking after other people is a lot, especially after 11 years or however long it was.
Again, I think it's how we think about those markers of success. I think starting out, so many people in beauty college would be like, what I want to ultimately do is have my own salon, have my own chain of salons. We think that is the thing. That's where you want to get to. But is that making you happier? Is that what you want to be doing? Is that the lifestyle that you want? Not necessarily. It might not be suited to you. You might be, your biggest point of success might be being self-employed and not managing anyone.
Yeah, we all define success in very, very, very different ways. For me, my success is my ability to spend time at home and have that free time to spend with friends and family, and still be able to pay my mortgage and, feed my dogs and fuel my car. That for me is success, when I could be like, do you know what? I work 4, maybe 5 days a week between the hours of 10 and 4:30. It is good going.
Yeah. And it's another thing that you can kind of define at the beginning of your journey. What is your ideal client? What is your ideal lifestyle? How do you want your working life to look like?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your goals going forward?
I'm going to be doing a price increase over the next few months. So my goal would be to obviously keep my current clients, but if I don't, then that's also okay. It is what it is. And actually, if you lose 1 or 2, then it's not a problem, because your price increase will balance that out. So, being able to successfully communicate that to my clients and for them to accept that, or to get the ball rolling with that. So yeah, a successful price increase this year. Oh, do you know what my ultimate goal is? My ultimate goal, and it's just I don't know if it's ever going to happen because she's getting on a bit. I'd really love to do Dolly Parton's nails. I'd love to do that.
I love that. Put that in the bowl and come back to it.
That's like my biggest goal ever in my career now, I think.
How old is she? Where are we at? Dolly Parton. 78. You've got time. You have got time. How exciting.
Yeah, that's my like ultimate goal. I'm just so content with my career, and I'm super happy to be and grateful for the amazing clients that I've got, and the money that I earn to be able to pay for life. I'm super happy to be just doing what I love every day. Yeah.
It sounds like you've really established, what you want your lifestyle to look like, what you want your clients to look like. And at the moment, it's just nurturing that and enjoying the fruits of that labour.
Mm-hmm.
We normally like to finish our podcast with some quick fire questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
What is a beauty product that you can't live without?
The Estee Lauder Renew cream, because I'm over 30 now, and I'm telling you, that face cream, I've used it for like a month. I feel like a new face. That's like my go-to, like, moisturizer.
Add to basket. Good to know. What is a beauty trend that you're really loving right now?
Like the gold and silver, like 3D chrome things on the nails. Oh, I think it looks so cool, especially on like even short nails. Like it looks wicked. I'm really enjoying that right now.
Oh, I can picture it. I think I've got them in my saved things on Instagram. Although I'm always just nude. I don't know what I always save these nail art things. I'm like, just nude again. Cheers. Thank you. So boring. What is or do you have a favourite podcast, book or creator for business inspiration?
One of the people that I would definitely recommend people to follow is Ava Scarlett Beauty. I've known her for a couple of years, and she really helped me in building up confidence to do things. She's not necessarily about content creation, but she is definitely about empowerment within our industry. She's an amazing personality, very strong, very, very strong woman. And she's just a laugh. She's just great fun as well. And a lot of the things that she puts out there are little pointers here and there. She's just pure sunshine. She's just fabulous.
Nice. That's who you want for inspo. We'll make sure to look her out in show notes.
Absolutely.
What are some business tools that you can't live without?
I would say having an accounting software for me, is really, really key. It just keeps things there and in front of you, and you can see.
What do you use?
I use Xero. I think it's quite pricey. Well, I say pricey. I think it's like £15 a month. Just for the basic one. And you won't need anything else unless you're like a huge limited company and this and that. But, and you like employ people and things like that. But I used Xero before when having salons, so I know how it works. And it was just really, really easy for me to use. And then my accountant also has access, so they can then do my tax returns and things like that.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say to her that everything's going to be all right, and you just have to trust the universe. And it's going to be hard, but it's okay.
Everything works out in the end. I love that.
Absolutely.
And what is one piece of advice you would give to others that are now trying to grow their business?
Keep pushing through. It's going to be hard, and there's ups and downs because life is not easy. Running a business is not easy. And surround yourself with people who bring you love and joy and support and and a nurturing as well. That's super important, I think.
What a lovely sentiment to end on. Thank you so much, Amy. You shared so much wisdom with our listeners, and I think there's a lot of inspiration to be taken from there. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me as well. What a treat.
So nice to see you again. Take care.
Bye, lovely.
Thank you for listening. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favourite podcast app. If you like the episode, why not leave a review or share it with a beauty industry friend? And if you're curious about Solo, you can download it for free on the App Store or Google Play and take advantage of our free trial.